That all said, in United States of America, we do not only have a problem with materialists who seek to assert their belief system as the only true one. You can clearly see this has been done by other ideologies, religious in nature, political parties and other social ideologies. Christianity is an obvious example of this. Materialists and Christians create polarity to one another, an aggressive psychological polarity that is seeking to override each other's belief system. War of ideology is not something new on this planet. They both seek to force their own personal experiences and views upon each other and other people. Force and violation of other people's right to think as they like is simply anti-democratic activity. What is lacking is understanding that before any violence erupts, it all begins in the mind, as mental aggression against other people. There are unrecognized mental and emotional violence people project against other people. This is unrecognized due to the debilitating effect the ideology of materialism has on the field of psychology. Understanding of human beings and nature of the mind is limited by this. Because remember, materialism denies the existence of mind. It only accepts it as a subjective activity in the brain. This is a complete lie and delusion that humankind needs to question. There are many layers to psychological mental warfare people are engaged in. One of them goes by the name, I am right, you're wrong. If you closely look at such people who are locked in an ideological battle, you can tell there is an attempt to destroy another person's view or force another person to acknowledge and give up its view. To destroy your opponent's view as not being valid or true. It doesn't necessarily mean you must have some truth in your belief. You can perfectly believe in a lie and be absolutely convinced it's true and seek out to eradicate all other beliefs, even the one that is based on reality and therefore correct. Why is this a problem for a democratic society? Because in a democracy you are allowed to share, but you're not allowed to destroy other people's beliefs. This is a clear act of aggression against other people's right to think as they like and express what they think. That's what totalitarian regimes do. They make one way of thinking to be an infallible reality, and if you do not subscribe to it, you will be killed, tortured, imprisoned or humiliated in other ways. In a more democratic society, people don't go and kill the majority of other people who think differently, but they have no issue emotionally and mentally attacking other people in conversations, in speeches and in comment sections on the forums. This is all a mental aggression, a warfare at the mental level, and you are an aggressor if you are doing this to other people. Of course, if Einstein's discovery would have been understood and accepted that everything is energy, this simply would lead to a realization that any mental activity is also an energetic activity. And any psychological interaction with other people is also an energetic interaction. Many Christians who instead of following Christ do engage in this mental war instead of turning the other cheek. They likewise began trying to use science to promote their worldview that they claim is infallible. The problem is that, when a debate becomes dominated by two ideologies that seek to prove their view instead of being focused on seeking higher understanding about life, truth is an immediate casualty. In the intelligent design debate, you will clearly see this at work. The scientific materialists have decided that every aspect of life can be, and must be, explained as the result of natural, materialistic processes, and thus there is no need for an intelligent creator. The intelligent design proponents are seeking to use scientific theories to reintroduce a religious worldview into public life, by reformulating it in a way they think will be palatable to modern people, or at least impossible to reject. Most of the people formulating the intelligent design theory, despite claims to the contrary, have a traditional, Christian worldview. And most of the people seeking to push intelligent design into public policy also have this worldview. An objective evaluation will show that both sides have already decided what they want truth to be, and they are engaging in the debate, with the sole purpose of defending or establishing the superiority and dominance of their worldview. Thus, neither side is seriously seeking a higher understanding about life. There is a fundamental difference between deciding what truth should be like, then seeking to find arguments that support what you want to believe, and engaging in a sincere quest to discover a higher understanding than you currently have. In scientific space, following the data rather than fitting the data into your existing mental box. In the intelligent design debate, you can quickly find inconsistencies in the worldviews of both sides. You can see that neither side can answer all of the logical questions about the origin of life. Yet you also see that neither side is willing to seriously consider the inconsistencies in their own worldview, even though they clearly see the problems with the worldview of the opposite side. This shows you that both sides are taking a dualistic approach, meaning they are in direct opposition to each other, and only looking for the mote in their brother's eye while refusing to see the beam in their own eye. People who are stuck in this dualistic battle of ideologies are not sharing their views, they are forcing their views on other people and society. Intelligent design as a scientific theory holds that certain features of the universe and of living things are best explained by an intelligent cause. Despite this claim, they have not put forward any explanation to how intelligent cause, intelligent agent or intelligent mind influences the material world. They have not offered any scientific method to test this or undertake an experiment that demonstrates this scientifically. Nor have they offered a proper philosophical explanation. And why is this so? Because intelligent design cannot by definition present a higher explanation for a simple reason, behind scientific language, the frame of reference based on the Bible. Just like with materialists and their theory of evolution, it already has a mental box that they seek to validate by using old or newly discovered scientific data. It does not aim to bring or explore higher understanding about how the Creator created this world or how it functions if it goes beyond biblical interpretation, not even mentioning myriads of false, conflicting information ingrained into the book over such a long time. And as we all know, it was not the Bible, but science that made humanity progress. Science was not the only thing that made humanity progress, but for the sake of this discussion I will leave it be. Despite this, they had no issue upgrading intelligent design into a status of a theory as was done by materialists with a theory of evolution. Both are lacking fundamental logical reasonable power to explain. Both so-called theories claim ideas that were not tested or proven, yet both theories are considered to be self-evident facts. What is self-evident is that both are not scientific and only ideological in nature. They both have gone beyond philosophy, the very moment they put forward infallible axioms, that according to them cannot be expanded or refuted by science or any other explanation offered. There have been many counter-ideas and facts that shatter claims promoted by ideology of materialism, and as was said, intelligent design is designed at doing just that, to point out a flaw in opposing ideology and not expand humankind's understanding. It's a sad fact that many Christians been using such exposures as a weapon to destroy opposing belief system, and put down people who believe in materialism, the exact same thing materialists are doing to religious people. Instead of being humble as a dove as Jesus taught them so long ago, they engage in a modern version of the crusade and feel it's justifiable to do so. Claiming that Jesus Christ said to preach the word, forgetting that he never stood for use of force, in this case a mental force, and died by the hands of those who did exactly that in his time, promoting their ideology as the only way to look and understand the nature of life and God, which Jesus Christ challenged and was killed for. It is a historical fact that the Catholic Church of the Middle Ages was clearly taking the dualistic approach of defining church doctrine as an infallible truth that was beyond questioning. If the Church said the earth was the center of the universe, then the earth was the center of the universe, and if observations did not agree, then the observations had to be wrong. Thus, it is not difficult to see that, in the early days of science, we had a situation in which only one side was taking the dualistic aggressive approach. Early scientists were driven by a sincere and honest quest for a higher understanding. Most scientists of today likely will be reluctant to admit that in today's world, scientific materialism is close to occupying the same position of absolute power as that enjoyed by the medieval church. Thus, the scientific establishment is not only seeking to refute intelligent design, but is actually seeking to silence any debate about the materialistic worldview. If data conflicts with materialistic natural explanation, then the data is wrong and the person presenting it is likewise wrong by definition. A worldview that for almost a century has been taught in many public schools as an absolute, infallible and unquestionable scientific fact. Thus, Instead of being a vehicle for positive change in society, it seeks to hold back progress in order to maintain its power position. It has become a restrictive force that takes away people's freedom, even the freedom to think and speak, in order to maintain power. When any belief system, individual or organization achieves absolute power, it becomes absolutely corrupted by that power. This is what happened to science that was seized by the ideology of materialism over time. And of course, intelligent design, in its current form, is not the answer to the question about the origin of life either. To find this answer, you must be willing to look beyond both the biblical and the materialistic dogmas. It's a double standard on both sides. What is the psychological effect of subscribing to the ideology? It closes your mind. It closes your mind to anything beyond what you already know. First of all, because you think that you know everything you need to know offered by the ideology, so how could there be anything new? And second of all, because you think you are absolutely right in the way you look at life, that means anything new might actually go against what you know, might challenge what you know, and therefore you feel threatened by it. The net effect is what? You are closed to any new ideas. Take a simple look back at the history of humankind and ask yourself this question. What has driven progress? The answer is undeniable: new ideas. I have mentioned before that those ideologies are dualistic in nature and in position to each other. Ideology of materialism opposes the ideology of Christianity. What is it that happens when you are trapped in the duality consciousness? Well, you take one relative viewpoint, in this case offered by ideology. You take that towards the extreme of infallible truth, and as you go towards that extreme, you elevate it to a higher and higher status until it reaches an absolute status in your mind. You are now trapped. You think you know better. You know all there is to know. You are absolutely right. You have made a mental box to be immovable, unchangeable. It means you cannot grow on a personal level, and a society trapped in this dynamic cannot grow either. You can clearly see that intelligent design is not here to set people free. It opposes ideas claimed by materialists to be infallible. These ideologies are locked in a battle of opposing each other, and people who are trapped in duality are also locked in these aggression against each other. What force of darkness wants the most of you? To divide and conquer, to drag you into a conflict with other people, where you will be drawn in endless struggle, proving yourself right and the other side wrong. And the devil is laughing in the corner as always. Fighting other people and sharing your worldview is not the same thing. You cannot claim you are seeking truth, and at the same time seek to aggressively destroy and take away opportunities for other people to seek truth their own way. The journey is in the mind, and all people should be allowed to have that journey without being exposed to constant aggression. This is what democracy is all about. An opportunity to live in peace and pursue your own growth, without having fear of other people seeking to constantly destroy your belief every time you write or say something. If you refuse to acknowledge this and correct your behavior, then your attitude is going to lead only to conflict with other people. You are literally working against democracy and what it stands for. The choice of what kind of person you wish to be I leave to you.